Every day in 1,000 different ways, we are trying to improve ourselves by learning how to do things. Now, if knowledge is power, if knowledge is the forerunner to success, then why do we fall short of our objectives, settling for a life of existence rather than a life of substance? While there may be many answers to this question, the fundamental answer is the absence of discipline. Self-discipline. Consistent self-discipline. It doesn't really matter how smart you are or how much you know if you don't use it. It doesn't really matter if you attended every seminar that comes to town if you don't apply what you've learned. Apply our knowledge, study the results, refine our approach. Finally, our knowledge will inevitably produce worthy results. Pretty soon, we'll find that we're swept into a spiral of achievement, a vertical rise to success. But for this whole process to work for us, we must first master the art of discipline, self-discipline. It takes consistent self-discipline to master the art of setting goals, to master the art of leadership. It takes a consistent effort to truly manage our valuable time, or we'll be consistently frustrated. It takes discipline to conquer the nagging voices in our minds, the fear of failure, the fear of poverty. It takes discipline to keep trying when that nagging voice within us brings up the possibility of failure. The voice of the human ego speaks to all of us. Sometimes the voice of ego says that we should magnify our value beyond our results. It takes discipline to be totally honest, both with ourselves and with others. Every exaggeration of the truth, once detected by others, destroys our credibility. They'll always think we exaggerate, and they'll never quite hold us in the same regard again. It takes discipline to change a habit, because habits are formed a little bit each day, every day, every day. It takes discipline to plan. It takes discipline to execute our plan. And it takes discipline to change either our plan or our method of executing that plan if the results are poor. It takes discipline to ponder the value of someone else's opinion when our pride and our arrogance leads us to believe that we are the only ones with the answers. Discipline is an awareness of the constant need for action and a conscious act to implement that action. Now here's the other side of discipline. If there's considerable time that passes between the moment of awareness and the time of our implementation, then that is called procrastination. The voice within us says, get it done. Discipline then says, do it now. Procrastination says later, tomorrow, whenever I get a chance. Do what is necessary to get by or to impress others. In every circumstance we face, we are constantly presented with these two choices. Do it now or do it later. A choice between a disciplined existence bearing the fruit of achievement and contentment or procrastination. The rewards for the lack of discipline are immediate, but they are minor in comparison to the immeasurable rewards of consistent self-discipline. For most, we choose today's pleasure rather than tomorrow's fortune. So how can you get rid of the easy distractions? How can you keep an attitude of doing it all and doing it now? How can you stay focused on your ambitions? You've got to really work on your consistent self-discipline on a daily basis, or you'll find yourself distracted. Distracted by negative people, distracted by your doubts within yourself. Never underestimate the power of influence. Associations. Now let's take a closer look at discipline. First, true discipline is not the easiest option. Most people would rather sleep until 10 o'clock than get up at 6. Trying is always easier than doing. It's easier not to read. It's easier to turn on the television than to open a book. Wouldn't it be fascinating if we didn't have to do these things? What do you suppose would become of us? You're right. Not much. The system we live in and contribute to is designed to make the easiest things in life the most unprofitable. Our world is and always will be a constant battle between the life of ease and a life of discipline. Choose one or the other, but both will have price? The price of discipline or the price of regret? The first lesson of discipline is that it isn't the easiest option. The second lesson of discipline is that it's a full-time activity. You see, the discipline that it takes to make your bed every day is the same discipline necessary for success in the world of business. If we're disciplined in just one area and lazy in another, guess what? Pretty soon, the lazy side will creep in and destroy the disciplined side. Consistency cannot be inconsistent. We tell our kids that the TV is rotting their minds, yet we spend our evenings in front of it. Do as I say, not as I do. This is inconsistent. The only thing worse than one who is inconsistent in applying their self-imposed discipline is one who has never considered the need or the value of discipline at all. These people seem to wander aimlessly, leaving behind a trail of broken friendships, unfinished projects, and unfulfilled promises. Here's the third step to becoming consistently self-disciplined. Number 3 simply says, for every disciplined effort, there is a multiple reward. It's an extension of the biblical law that says if you sow well, you reap well. Not only does it suggest that we'll all reap what we've sown, it also suggests that we'll reap much more. For every disciplined effort, a multiple reward. What a concept. If you render unique service, your reward will be multiplied. If you give more than you expect to receive, your reward is more than you expect. Everything of value requires care and attention. Everything of value requires discipline. Likewise, our thoughts require discipline. We must set up our inner boundaries, or our thoughts will be confused, and confused thoughts produce confused results. And with confused thoughts, we'll end up being confused. Perhaps you're on the brink of giving up, and the only missing ingredient to your incredible success story in the future is a new and self-imposed discipline. The most valuable form of discipline is the one that you impose on yourself. The life of each one of us is going to serve as either a warning or an example. A warning of the consequences of neglect, or an example of talent put to use.
And the question is, if you died this very moment, what will die with you? What greatness that you showed up to bring, that you allowed fear or procrastination to hold you back? I refuse to die an unlived life.
99% of people are not willing to do what it takes to make their dreams come true. The Marines have a saying, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. The center of bringing any dream into fruition is self-discipline. You know, something as simple as food and eating. It's not about your body as much as it is about your mind. It's getting command of your mind to be able to choose actions that are in your own best interest. Every day we are choosing that's not in our own best interest. So if the world is attacking you and the world wants to fight you and the world's trying to hold you down, so you gonna kick yourself in the balls? So you gonna stop yourself from getting what you dream? And I think the word discipline has kind of gotten a bad name. We think about it in terms of punishment. I'm not talking about discipline in that way. I'm talking about discipline in the sense that you forego immediate pleasure for the exchange of long-term self-respect. I believe that self-discipline is the definition of self-love. That when you say that you love yourself, that means that you have behavior towards yourself that is loving. Self-discipline is the center of all material success. You cannot win the war against the world if you can't win the war against your own mind.
Your life is a physical manifestation of the conversation going on in your head. So if you said nothing but thought everything, your life is going to show up to make your thoughts true. So you have one job. You have one job in your life for you, to make what you think about life true so that you're not wrong. You don't want to walk around wrong. You want to be right about the life you see. So you're going to work hard to produce the life that you talk about in your mind. Whether that life is no one loves me, I'm all alone. You can be in a group of people and you will think, I'm so alone. And you will feel alone, and things will show up to co-sign your loneliness just because you're looking for that. And so, if you start with, I'm going to say the mind, like the mind is that thing. The mind is the core engine. It starts all things. It shuts all things down. When I start thinking something different, I'm like, hold on, stop. I want to think something. I shut down that behavior. I shut down that outcome. When I birth something, I birth it in my mind. I focus on my mind. I see myself there in my mind. Before I got on with you, I was doing guided visualizations. I'm recording them. So people, and I mean, they're juicy. And I'm saying, see yourself here. Because if you can see it, and then the key is evoke the emotion as if you were there.
Yep.
Right? And that's why people who are sad all the time are sad, because they're thinking of things that make them sad. And then the emotion follows the thoughts. So I'm going to say everything starts with your thought, Lewis. But let me just say this. When you speak your future into the world. You speak your future. Whatever you say, whatever falls off your tongue, when you say I am, right? The unconscious mind says, and you are so. Whatever comes on the other side of that. And so you ask me a hard question, which one is most important? It starts with the thought. I think the thought is that's where everything originates. And then you add a whole lot of turbo boost to it with your tongue.
Self-love is when you say to yourself, man, look, I know you and that girl got a real connection. I know y'all vibe, but that's your girl's cousin. So I love you too much to let you do that. It's like you say to yourself, hey man, look, I know you want to eat that pizza and it'll be really good, but I can't let you eat that, man, because if you eat that pizza, you're going to feel like and I love you too much to let you eat that. Self-love is, hey, look, I know you got a test on Monday, and I know you really want to go out with your friends, and Saturday night you want to go out, but if you fail that test, you're not going to feel good about yourself. I love you too much to let you go out tonight. Self-discipline is self-love. If you want to be happy, you have to love yourself, which means you have to discipline your behavior. The road to sustained happiness is through disciplining your behavior.
We tend to base our self-esteem on what other people think. And that's not really self-esteem. Self-esteem is supposed to be how we feel about ourselves. And I was just saying how dangerous it is to allow other people to determine how you're going to feel about you. And it's kind of like looking into a broken mirror. You're going to look in a broken mirror and then change your face to try to look good in this defiled, busted, broken mirror. And it just, other people's opinions is a really way to determine how we feel about ourselves.
We are all, in various ways, self-seeking, lacking in wisdom, lacking in courage, afraid of death, afraid of pain. And we all think that's too bad. It's me that's wrong. And if only I could be the right person. Is this man going to tell me something that will help me to change myself so that I will be a more creative and cooperative member of the human race.
Everybody wants to be a beast. Everybody wants to be number one. Everybody wants to be the best. Everybody wants to succeed. Everybody wants to have, to be, and do what they feel they've been called to do. The challenge becomes that most of us, when it's time to do what beasts do, we don't do it.
See, the way in which we operate, ladies and gentlemen, is a manifestation of what we believe, what's possible for us. Whatever you've done up to this point, all that it really is a duplication, it's a reproduction of what you believe subconsciously that you deserve and what's possible for your life. Most people operate out of their personal history, out of their memory, things they've done, things they've experienced, things they've seen, things that they have observed. What I'm suggesting that you operate out of a larger vision of yourself. I want you to see yourself doing what you want to do, experiencing what you want to experience, having what you want to have, doing what it is that gives your life some meaning and value. Operate out of your imagination, not your memory.
There's nothing you can do about the past, but you can do a great deal about your future. You don't have to be the same person you were yesterday. You can make changes in your life. Absolutely startling changes. In a fairly short period of time. You can make changes you can't even conceive of now. If you give yourself a chance, your abilities will grow. You have untapped talents and potential that you haven't even reached for yet. And as time goes on, you'll be able to reach deeper and deeper. The first thing you'll know, you'll be able to do things you never thought you could do. You'll be able to handle things you never thought you could handle. You'll have ideas that you've never had before.
Because let me tell you something right now and burn this into the core of your soul. There's always room for the best. There's always room for the best. And if you're prepared to become the best, you can become unstoppable. You can build something other people think is impossible. You can build something out from under a mountain of doubt.
It don't matter whose fault it is that something is broken if it's your responsibility to fix it. For example, it's not somebody's fault if their father was an abusive alcoholic, but it's for damn sure their responsibility to figure out how they're going to deal with those traumas and try to make a life out of it. It's not your fault if your partner cheated and ruined your marriage, but it is for damn sure your responsibility to figure out how to take that pain and how to overcome that and build a happy life for yourself. Fault and responsibility do not go together. It sucks, but they don't. When something is somebody's fault, we want them to suffer. We want them punished. We want them to pay. We want it to be their responsibility to fix it, but that's not how it works, especially when it's your heart. Your heart, your life, your happiness is your responsibility and your responsibility alone. As long as we're pointing the finger and stuck in whose fault something is, we're jammed and trapped into victim mode. When you're in victim mode, you are stuck in suffering. The road to power is in taking responsibility. Your heart, your life, your happiness is your responsibility and your responsibility alone.
You can make a person smile, you can make a person feel good, you can make a person laugh, but whether or not a person is happy is deeply and totally and utterly out of your control. The prerequisite for spending time with any person is that they nourish and inspire you. They feed your flame. Look at your last 5 text messages. Are those people feeding your flames or dousing your fire? Put your phone down for just a second and look around. Look to the people around you. Are those people throwing logs on your fire or are they pissing on it?
See, when you are not filling your life with the things that you are capable of doing, then there are gaps in your life. And what we do when we're not living out our true identity, we begin to fill the gaps. We fill the holes with garbage, alcohol, drugs, worry, self-destructive behavior. So when you begin to look at your life and you know that you're not doing what you can do because you have allowed yourself to be held captive by your fears. Now, when you don't have a true appreciation and acceptance for who you are, and you allow yourself to be immobilized by fear, what happens in the process is that you begin to abuse yourself. You begin to sabotage your life. You begin to sabotage your dreams. You begin to unconsciously work against yourself. You become your own worst enemy. So what do you do about that?
I need a mission. We all need a mission. That's what life should be, is a mission. That's what gives your life purpose and focus and drive and ultimately satisfaction. There's things that you know you're supposed to do as a human being, things that you know are going to improve your life. Do those things. There's things that you know are going to make you a worse person and make your life worse. Don't do those things. And sometimes people ask me what to do if they don't know what their mission is or what their mission should be. And I tell them, if they're in that situation, go help them. Go help someone else make that your mission, because that will make you better and it'll make the world better. And eventually from that, you'll see what your mission is.
Well, you begin to realize that your dream and your gifts have so much meaning and so much value for you till your hunger for them will give you a special drive. As you work on yourself, as you begin to acknowledge your true identity, true power that you have, the true capacity you have to bring about change, the miracle working power that you have within yourself to do the things that you want to do.
You only live once, so do what you feel passionate about.
Hey there.
The condition will never be perfect. If you keep waiting for the storm to pass, you will miss the opportunity to learn how to sail in the world. Life is messy, its choice is chaotic and doesn't come with guarantees, but you have to go to get up away anyway, because if you don't fight for it, you cannot succeed. Yes, I found myself broke, 30 years old. I was embarrassed. I could pay my bills. I couldn't even look myself in the mirror. But here's what changed everything. I stopped waiting for someone else to fix my life. I realized that no mentor, no friend, no family member, and certainly no government was going to turn things around for me.